Hey guys, so I left off about a year ago with tearing this engine down, and obviously I didn't get around to tearing it down like I wanted to, so we finally gonna get a chance to. This was an old rod I was using for the floating piston setup for the Batara pistons I had. This, a much better rod. So in comparison, you can tell, I don't know how well that comes out on camera, but quite a bit beefier. And so in terms of running a little bit more boost on the engine, I don't think I'm going to have a problem. I don't plan on running anything over 20 pounds because I have a certain power goal in mind. So, but yeah, these will be perfect. The only problem that I believe I'm going to have, according to a friend of mine, is that I'm going to have to remount the bushing here a little bit in order to accept the wrist pin, because once again, same kind of thing with the stock rod, when I was running the floating piston setup, it wouldn't accept it. So you may or may not be able to tell from here, but there is a certain amount of metal that's going to have to come out of here. So with that, I'm super excited because I've wanted these rods for a long time. They're fairly inexpensive. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work out, but they were only a couple $100. And I think that they will prove to be stronger than the stock ones. The garage has changed quite a bit. I've got quite a bit of different tools now, a lot of different stuff. So I'll do kind of a walk around, just kind of show what's going on in the garage wise, and then I'll go ahead and start tearing this down. The Celica. I don't know if any of you know about the Celica. I may have mentioned it before. It's kind of taken apart because I need to replace some things. It had lifter tick, and I had to replace the shims. So that's just kind of an annoying thing. So since I haven't had to do it, I haven't done it. And I really wanted to put bigger cams in if I was going to go that route. So toolbox. I've gotten a lot of Milwaukee things recently because I've sold some Funko Pops. In one of my videos I've posted, or you may have seen the background that I have Funko Pops, and right now I'm selling those to finance my tool obsession with Milwaukee for right now. So I have gotten a couple of new things like this 3/8 extended reach ratchet, which has been awesome. I have the new right angle impact ratchet, which is amazing as well. If you guys get a chance to see some of the videos on these, I mean, they're really, like, if you're a mechanic or mechanically inclined, or just like you do some work on cars, these are phenomenal tools. Like this thing took off a crankshaft pulley bolt with ease. I was able to get it in between the radiator and stuff, like no problem. It was great. So got a die grinder, a right angle die grinder. Got a bunch of, I'm trying to organize, so I've got my organization stuff here. I've gotten a bunch of Icon wrenches. Some people may or may not like them. I personally think they're amazing, especially for the price. So I do have some Cobalt stuff and a turbo. This is the turbo that my friend sent me that will be going on the car. I've just got to do quite a bit of work to it to get it back to where I want it, until I can get the big T28 that I want. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for sending me that. You're awesome. I really appreciate it. So the workbench is a mess. We ended up somehow pretty much inheriting a quad, and I've worked on it, fixed it some so that we've enjoyed it. The Mirage is in the exact same spot that it's been for the past year, up on jack stands. So that needs to not happen because I need to do a track day. There are Mirage guys that are going to be doing track days and have done track days and mountain runs, and I'm missing out. It's killing me. It's driving me nuts, and I got to do something about it. It's literally just, it's got to be done. Celica parts and my plethora of Mirage parts, which hopefully I'll be inheriting another 4G15 engine this weekend. So for those of you who don't like your 4G15 engines, feel free to ship them to me. I'm not going to pay you for them, but if you want to drop them off at the house, I'll take them off your hands. So like I said, that's kind of the garage. I'm trying to make something in the back there just because I'm tired of seeing the unfinished wall. So I'm not quite done with it, but I think it looks kind of cool, and it doesn't look as bad as the unfinished wall. So With that being said, let's get to tearing this engine down. The bottom end. Well, considering my other tools like my mallet are at the shop, I'm gonna have to improvise, so here we go. One, well, technically it's cylinder 2. Ah, yeah. And if you can't tell what I'm doing, I am taking out the rods by taking off the rod caps first and then taking out the rods. So coming out quite easy. Since these are old, there's some scoring on the bearings. So when I put this thing back together, it was, like I said, a friend of mine who gave these to me because the Vitaras were hitting the valves, and so he gave me a stock setup to put in the bottom end for right now to drive it around until I got sorted out. So they worked. It's just not ideal for what I'm planning. Alrighty. So there's another one, number 3. And at some point, his engine, I think he over-revved, or he had mentioned something to me. So that's why there's some valve marks here. I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for the Mirage forums, I probably wouldn't be building this car. Between them and the guys, the actual community themselves, the passion for these guys, like it's tremendous. Because these Mirages are not, they're not worth anything. So many of you that know that or that own them know that they're not really worth anything. So to pour a whole bunch of money into them, I mean, they're worth less than Civics. And Civics, you know, they're kind of mainstream and they actually have all the aftermarket sports you could ever want. Mirages are different. We have to adopt Evo parts and other things, and some people really they tend to either build an Evo or do bigger motor swaps and stuff. So doing the 1.5 thing, not really the biggest thing in America. There's a couple of guys, but it's not a lot of us. Down to the last rod here. As you can see, I'm going to start taking off the main caps here and get this crank out. So all right, last one. Say goodbye to these pistons and rods because they will never be in this engine again. I always liked the Mitsubishi logo on them though. I thought it was awesome. Have I mentioned I love this thing? There's another setting that slows it down once it starts to back it off. Let's see if that works. Oh, that's so sweet. Look at that. It hits it hard and then slows itself down. Oh, that's awesome. I'm sorry, I'm new to this thing, so it's exciting for me. I'm really digging it. It's really great. And of course, I don't have my mallet, but there's one of your main caps. Number 2. I like how they're numbered. It's good. It's good. This is such an awesome hammer. You guys don't even know. You just don't know. Actually, I feel bad that I'm bashing the handle in, but I want to get this taken apart and I don't have my mallet. Let's see if I got my other trusty tool here. Or take these other ones out and see if that'll work. See if it'll loosen it up enough. Might help. Alright. Look at that, see? Why can't the other one be like this? Why you gotta have problems? Alright. Number 5. So, ideally, I could take the housing for the rear main seal off back here. If I can take this off, and I can't get this one because it's being stubborn, and I don't have my mallet, what I may end up doing is trying to pull up the crank and see if it'll break it loose. So, wish me luck. If it doesn't work, you'll know. I think I mentioned before the other problem I have with this car is that when I put it together, the rear main seal, it was buckled in some. And as a matter of fact, you should be able to tell here, right here at the bottom of it, it's kind of buckled in. So I had an oil leak, which ended up getting into the transmission, and you all know how that goes, or most of you may, I don't know, but it was not good. So that's why my clutch was coated. Not fun, not good stuff. Look how nice these things are. They are pretty freaking awesome. So I'm excited about these. I don't get to use them much. I have other tools at the shop, and so like a lot of my good tools end up being here at the house, and then I end up not being able to use them. So it's kind of a catch-22, I guess. But if I start working on the cars like I'm supposed to, which I am, then I get to use my own tools, which is awesome. No, don't fight me. You're there. Yes. Okay. If it gets stuck again, we'll have problems. There we go. Look at that. You can see where, like I said, it's crushed in here. Don't rush. Put it in right. Don't make the same stupid mistake I made. Ah, yes. Ah, ha, ha. There we go. The center one. And now we can take the crank out. So, crank doesn't weigh too much, but like I mentioned, having it knife edged and kind of cleaned up some. I mean, it was cleaned up prior to me putting the motor back together, and it's actually in pretty nice shape. I just the thought of having it knife edged is kind of nice. So I know a machinist. I may be able to get him to do it. We'll see. Here's what it looks like with everything out, except for the bearings. Some of these are starting to come out. There we go. There we go. I don't have anything to wipe this down right now, but I will turn it over and show the empty cylinders. Here are the cylinders. They may need to be rehoned. There's some buildup around the top, but overall they're in pretty good shape. You can actually, it looks like you can still see some of the cross hatching. I don't know how well you can see in there, but because the engine wasn't ran too much, you may still be able to see some of the cross hatching or so. I'm not too sure if that's what that is, or it's bare block, small little 1.5 liter engine. So like I said, it'll be cleaned up, it'll be gone through. The crank may or may not be knife edged. I'll show you in a video if it is. The pistons, I may end up running a brand new set of stock pistons. And I had that decompression head gasket from RPW, and what I like I said, the weak point ends up usually being the rods. And if I run a stock set of pistons, I don't see the ring lands being an issue. And I like these NPR rings that a lot of people are running. These Honda guys are running them and stuff, and they seem to not have any issues. So here's all the parts that we took out. So main caps and bearings and rear main seal housing and rear main seal that's broken, because like I said, don't do that. You'll have a leak, and then eventually maybe no clutch. And the Mitsubishi factory pistons and the factory rod. Yeah. I mean, you can just, yes. That's gonna work. You know, I even believe when the Mighty Car Mods built their 4G50, and I think that the thing that let go was the rod. So I always knew that was gonna be a weak link. The Mirage just ran 18 pounds of boost before, not consistently, but on a spike, and it still just smiled and kept going. So it's kind of a freak of nature, but now I get to put the parts that it deserves in there. So that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Obviously, finally the Mirage engine is apart, and now that I'm getting parts, I feel more motivated to put it together. So I hope you stay tuned. If you like it, you can like and subscribe, and there's going to be a lot more stuff on the channel. May or may not like it. It just depends. There will still be tons of Mirage content, because the Mirage is my favorite car in the world ever, just because I fell in love with it since I was 19. There'll probably be some Celica stuff, and I work at a shop that works on these old British sports cars. Some of you may have seen some of the stuff I work on, and honestly, they're so interesting to me, and not a lot of young people or even people my age have them. So I'm going to build one for myself. I'm going to build myself an MGB, and I'm probably going to do something like a supercharger and have this old school supercharged convertible that I don't have to worry about emissions and stuff. That's fun to drive around in the mountains and stuff. Unlike my race car, which will just be some track monster that will be in a time attack competition and beat other guys, the Mirage guys that are going to run the track event, that I'm going to make a fool out of myself when I run for the first time, probably talk a lot of smack, and lose in my 250, 300 horsepower Econo box. So anyways, I wish you guys all the best. I hope you're all doing good during this time. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.